Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for React after the Elimination Chamber. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is AuSSy, and I am the advocate for this show tonight. And joining me,
the co-advocate,
is the co-advocate.
Now you got the role reversed: advocate, co-advocate.
Well, if you're a co-advocate, it's really two co-advocates. That's what.
We'll compromise.
We're going to cooperate here on this show. I am AuSSy. This is Matt Donato, and a special treat for you rope breakers tonight. We have rope break wrestling
legend.
He's our staff writer. He is a fan favorite on our Facebook page. He is Mitchdow. What's up, Mitch?
Man, oh man, I'm still buzzing after Kevin Owens and Cena, but we'll get to that later. Glad to be here on React once again. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude.
Without a doubt, and we've got a good amount of stuff to talk about. I mean, the pay-per-view as a whole, to be honest with you, I guess I had high expectations for it, and I would say it probably fell a little short of my expectations, but with that being said, there was just one undeniable force within the pay-per-view that obviously far exceeded expectations for everybody, and that's the elephant in the room here.
Absolutely.
And that is Los Matadores' performance in the Elimination Chamber.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about R-Truth.
Oh, well, okay, there was two awesome parts of this.
Y'all are sleeping on Mark Henry.
Henry. And if we continue to do that, somebody's going to get their ass kicked.
Or their wig split, one or the other.
All right, either way, we got to talk about really the elephant in the room, which is the John Cena Kevin Owens match. Kevin Owens WWE pay-per-view debut on the main roster. Killed it. Absolutely killed it. Just an excellent match from top to bottom. Booked properly. Just everything was done super, super cleanly. Very well.
Absolutely.
I really dug it. Mitch, let's start with you. What were your expectations coming into this match, and did this match exceed those expectations?
They blew my expectations out of the water. My God, I loved every tenth of a second of that match. I especially loved the package pile driver tease.
Yep.
I absolutely dug that. I was like, yes, always going for the package pile driver. And no, good swerve there. Good swerve. I like I said on the Facebook page, Rope Break Wrestling Facebook page, just so you guys know, I felt like a kid again watching that match. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I did too. Mitch, I got to ask you a question, an honest question. Did you like the match?
I loved it.
The real question at hand was, and we saw some interaction on Facebook. Did your dad like the match?
Probably not so much. The finish didn't go in his favor, but
if you're new to Mitchdow's, I don't know what you call it, Mitchdad. Mitchdad's banter. Mitchdad is not a huge fan of Kevin Owens, and quite frankly, we don't give a damn. But anyways, I'm interested to know, obviously, what you guys saw of the match. But Matt, we're sitting here, we're watching it live, and we're marking out, dude. Nick the Cena fan even went as far as to say to Matt at one point, dude, there's like almost tears in your eyes. That was after he went for the moonsault, springboard moonsault.
Oh, God, that was beautiful.
If you could be a fly on the wall in this apartment, good Lord.
No, you don't want to be a fly on the wall.
You don't want to be.
You get booms. But really, Matt.
Unless if you are flying the wall, land on the ceiling, this guy can't reach you. Boom.
We talked about the thing about Owens is, and if you're new to Kevin, whether you want to call him Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, whatever, if you're new to his matches, you're not used to seeing a guy with that body type doing those types of moves. That's what sets him apart here.
And to be honest,
Absolutely.
I was thinking this thing, how awesome would it be to be a fan who's never seen this guy before, a fan who is just being introduced to Kevin Owens, and then just that jaw-dropping match he had, phenomenal. That moonsault was just a thing of you jump to the top. I could spend all 30 minutes talking about that, but there's not one bad thing I can say about that match. The guy who's constantly being extremely critical of Cena, can't take anything away from him. I thought he did one hell of a job in that match.
Yeah, I love the promo afterwards too. Sorry to interrupt you, AuSSy.
No, that's a great point actually, because I would have glazed right over it. It was an excellent promo, and that's another thing too. Is for as great as Owens is in the ring, he's just as good on the mic.
Absolutely.
And I know I said it on one of the React shows recently. We talked a lot about, and we will talk a little bit more about it tonight, Dean Ambrose being compared to a Stone Cold Steve Austin type character. And we had the Seth Rollins correlation with Triple H using the pedigree and stuff like that. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Kevin Owens has that Rock type correlation, not because of the body type or the look or anything like that, but because the guy can go in the ring and the guy's dominant on the microphone.
Yep,
absolutely.
So Mitch, that's a great point there.
That's a good word too, dominant. He's very, very dominant on the mic. And it's not so much that he's like The Rock with the catchphrases and the charisma in that sense. It's just there's not somebody else that really believe what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah, I was talking to Matt and Alec the other day, and I said that everything he says feels like a shoot. It feels as real as it can get. It's like he doesn't put on a character. It's just him talking from the heart, but it is a character. He's not. He's just absolutely gold on everything he does.
And that was the problem that we had with a guy like Roman Reigns, and something that we like about a guy like Brock Lesnar, who, even though he doesn't talk a lot, when he does talk, it feels 110% authentic. It feels like it's shot from the hip. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But, we've got tons of rope breakers right now weighing in on the YouTube chat. And if you want to have your voice heard, do so by commenting on the chat here. You can also go onto Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Rope Break Wrestling. And like Mitchdow alluded to earlier, check out our Facebook page. You can like us at Rope Break Wrestling.
Where can you find those links?
You can find those links right in the description, my friends.
Right.
And actually,
is that easy?
It's that easy. And this time I actually hyperlinked them so everybody can just click on them if you were sick and tired of having to do the daunting task of copy and paste.
Oh, geez.
Can you imagine?
That's hard. Oh my god!
I am so sorry for forcing you guys to do.
I'd much rather get up and change the channel by touching the buttons on the TV.
I agree with you, man. But anyways, we got tons of people weighing in here. Tons of viewers. We got Ryan Barilla saying fight Owens, fight Marcelica 91. F the rematch. He doesn't want that rematch with Cena. He doesn't think Cena deserves it. Aaron Mason saying, I think I screamed a bit too loud when Ambrose won the title. And then Aaron Mason, I don't know, maybe putting Mitchdow over, saying, Mitchdow sounds a lot like Randy Orton. Coincidence? I think not. I wonder if he's saying that because Randy Orton, again, absent from the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I could see Orton maybe taking a trip down to Tennessee.
He is from Knoxville.
There you go.
So.
And then we got Austin Brands coming in, a return viewer. Well, back and sicker than a dog, but I had to get my voice with the Rope Breakers because what a night. That's the type of dedication that Rope Breakers have.
That's what we look for, absolutely.
I applaud you, sir.
And then we've got Marcelica saying, just a wish, in terms of him being Kevin Owens, knocking Cena's ass into retirement at Money in the Bank.
Oh, man.
Just tons of good stuff from you guys. We've also got Alex Henry asking, should I start making videos on wrestling? Why, man? Why bother? We're doing it for you here, man. We're taking all the heavy lifting out of it for you here. And again, all I have to say about the main event was I marked out so hard, but WWE was playing with our emotions. Ugh. That's how you know that they did it right. And let's transition.
Absolutely.
I know we only got really 15 more minutes, and we've still got a lot to cover. But at the end of the day, the two most important things that we've covered is that Owens match and then the main event.
Absolutely.
And when WWE is doing their job, they're playing with your emotions, whether they're getting you to scream in excitement or scream in anger.
Or nearly cry.
Or cry, like Matt really did. But either way.
You have to tell them.
Either way, the Dean Ambrose Seth Rollins match was good. It was refreshing because,
it was.
To be honest with you, the Intercontinental Championship Chamber match did lack luster.
Yes.
It wasn't as entertaining as it should have or could have been. So we're kind of just going to breeze over that. Good win for Ryback. Interested to see what they do with him moving forward.
Absolutely.
But Mitchdow, what are your thoughts on the Dean Ambrose booking? Do you like the finish there?
Yes, I did. I marked out. I screamed out loud, "Are you serious?" Grabbing my head, the works, all of that. And then once again, my inner child came out. No, that sucks. No, come on, let Ambrose hold it. That's so dumb. But yeah, then Wrestling Mark takes back over, and it makes complete sense. It's a great way to add heat to Rollins and further push Ambrose, because did you hear that crowd when he won?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was the only time they were awake the entire show. from the exception of the first match and the Cena match. But actually, Matt here, who is a big Dean Ambrose fan, it was interesting because Matt immediately was saying that this was a mistake for Ambrose to win the title. He immediately was, the rope break professional booker in his mind was taking over, saying, "This doesn't make sense. I don't get it." Why were you saying that, Matt?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of reasons. One, them being an elimination chamber that they just kind of threw in randomly. It just didn't make sense to me. I felt like they've been building this storyline for such a long time. They had that huge payoff at WrestleMania with the cash-in. Mm-hmm. I just feel like doing that right now was not that he shouldn't win the title, but right now didn't make sense to me. Like you said, I'm a huge Ambrose fan. I would love to see him hold the title, but I just didn't feel like this was the right time for them to do it.
Absolutely.
Loved the swerve at the end with the ref calling it a disqualification. Yes, exactly. Great way to really add depth to this storyline, because now there's so much more they can do with it. And then him leaving with that title. Beautiful booking. And I got to say, kind of reminded me a little bit of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What they really could have said was shades of CM Punk stealing the title and all. Yeah. But we know that wouldn't have happened. But what I do have to say is, what I do want to touch on too is, because I know not many people are going to touch on it, is I still silent clap every time I see them pair Roman Reigns with Ambrose in that type of situation, because they're really protecting Reigns there. I'm starting to really see, at least what I feel like as a fan, a lot more of himself in his character.
Absolutely.
A lot more just genuine gestures and facial expressions and stuff like that. And that's what's going to, in the end, get him over with most people. But I do think we might be traveling towards a triple threat or a triangular feud between the three here. Really, Mitch, we saw the 6 guys announced for the Money in the Bank match. I think it was, we might have to help each other out here, but I think it was Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Kofi Kingston, Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler,
Neville,
and Neville. Those were the 6 guys. To be perfectly honest with you, if this is for a shot at the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, the only logical answer to win that is Roman Reigns for me. So could we see maybe at I don't know. Maybe it would have to be at SummerSlam. Maybe we see that triple threat match. I know we've got Brock Lesnar coming back, but what happens here? If Reigns wins, does he cash in on a Lesnar Rollins match? What happens? Does Ambrose stay in the feud? Because after that, I feel like that's definitely opening it up for at least Ambrose Rollins at Money in the Bank. What do you think, Mitch? What do you think they should do?
I think that would be full circle for if Lesnar comes back, enters a feud with Rollins, picking up from where they left off at Mania. Reigns wins Money in the Bank. And then Reigns does exactly what Rollins did at WrestleMania at SummerSlam. I think that would be awesome.
I agree. I was saying the same thing a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Just the whole full circle thing. And then that's a great chance for them to get babyface spotlight on Reigns. You know what I mean? He gets his revenge. Yep. Everybody's happy for him, blah, blah, blah. But talking about that Money in the Bank match a little bit more, Marcelica91 here is saying Kofi Kingston makes no fucking sense.
I said the same thing on the Facebook page. It was like,
I agree in the sense that he's obviously not. It's like an R-Truth thing. But for this, he's kind of the spot guy. You know what I mean? He's the guy they're looking. He's going to do some crazy shit on the ladder. But I agree. He really doesn't make any sense.
Let me just
if you want a spot guy, why not go with Tyson Kidd? Because he's, I guess that he's not as believable, but he could still pull off some spots and it'd be fresh. Because Kofi Kingston's been in how many ladder matches now? He's running out of shit to do.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But here's the real reason why I see it as a fit. Kofi Kingston actually tweeted out right after that was announced, when you believe in the power of positivity, you make friends with the right people, then opportunities just present themselves. So the reason why I think this ends up being a fit is because it's almost like Kofi Kingston is one of the authorities' men, hired men to be in there to try and stop Reigns they have 2 weeks to build up. We'll see what they do here.
Right.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be an R-Truth thing where it's like we get the announcement 2 weeks ahead of time, hey, R-Truth's going to be in there, and then we don't see him anywhere but main event and superstars and shit like that. It doesn't make sense.
But then a squash by Rusev.
Yeah, Kofi's always going to be in these Money in the Bank matches.
Right. Yep.
And, I am starting to side with Mitchdow in the sense that, I'm kind of sick of seeing the big spots when we know nothing's going to come of them anyways. But at the end of the day, I understand why they're doing it. And the fact that he has ties to the authority now at least makes it make some storyline sense. So I guess I'm happy. I'm content. That's the word I should use. I'm content right now. But Marcelica91 makes a great point to help his argument. For the spots, you already have Neville. Neville's another guy that's in there that's going to be making
a really good point.
Some high spots. That's going to be exciting to see him in there.
Very.
Alex Henry, who's watched the show in the past, I know, says he really hoped that Cesaro would be in the match, and he doesn't see any excuse that Cesaro shouldn't be in the match. Obviously, we're big Cesaro fans as well. I know. I'm pretty sure I can speak for the three of us and Alec on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure I can speak for every WWE fan on that one.
Yeah.
But it just seems like I don't know what they're doing with him. I think they've got a good thing right now going with Kidd and Cesaro. And you brought up Kidd, Mitch. But what do you think? Kind of transitioning. What do you think about Kidd and Cesaro not even making it to the final two teams in that tag team elimination chamber?
I thought it was kind of crappy. I don't know why the primetime players were the last. I mean, nothing against the primetime players. I like them as a team. They fit well. They do funny promos and they get over well, but I don't see them as having that last spot. I think I was really pushing more for the Lucha Dragons, but second would have been Cesaro and Kidd making it down to the wire, but I didn't agree with that at all.
Yeah, at first I was kind of like confused as shit, but then I started thinking about it, and I told you, Matt, when you got here, because Matt actually missed a majority of that match.
Which is why you see me drifting. I was watching the Kalisto
they're
spot.
Replaying it.
Him jumping off the top of the cage. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was a good spot, and the Lucha Dragons are exciting. But the problem with them, too, is WWE's really dropped the ball in the past couple of weeks. You haven't seen them.
Yeah,
it's like
it's one of their best tag teams.
All of a sudden, coming out of WrestleMania, they're super hot. They're white hot, and then all of a sudden they just decide to forget about them for a couple of weeks, and it doesn't make sense to me. And then they wonder why their tag division is so shitty. But what I was saying to Matt was tonight was really a glimmer of hope for me, in terms of the tag team division, one, because they had so many effing people in that chamber match, and they managed to keep it clean somehow. It wasn't a clusterfuck like I thought it was going to be. But number two, the way they booked it, in my opinion, with the exception of Los Matadores, every single team in that match came out looking stronger than they did going into it. So Lucha Dragons, sure, they didn't make it to the end, but we haven't seen them in a couple weeks. And what we did see of them tonight was a swanton bomb from Sin Cara off of the pod. We saw that big spot from Kalisto at the top of the chamber. They had some great spots. And then you saw the Ascension take out Los Matadores and the Lucha Dragons. You saw primetime players come in and take out the Ascension, who took out those two teams, and then take out Kid and Cesaro. We already know Kid and Cesaro is a legitimate team.
Right.
They got their big spots in, some great uppercut stuff, some really innovative stuff, which we've come to expect from them. It's kind of like, I feel like we're almost spoiled, but it's almost like every match, Kid and Cesaro are coming out with something new. You know what I mean?
That's what's great about them as a tag team, though, is, you know, I've said this multiple times on React. I never thought that this team would work, but you think about it now, and there's no reason it shouldn't work. They're both so similar with their mindset and how wrestling. They're so technical. They're both innovators in their own right. So putting them together only makes sense, and they've proven to be a really, really great tag team.
Yeah, they are absolutely excellent so far. Really a shot in the leg for that tag team division in a good way.
If they can pull off an Elimination Chamber match the first time ever for a tag team Elimination Chamber match, when are we getting a TLC match?
That'd be sweet. And I kind of got the sense too, I was thinking that's actually another great tip that Mitchdow brought up, because I was actually thinking during this match, I said to myself, you got to wonder when all these teams sat down together, what the feeling was going into the match. And I almost got the sense of, hey, we have the chance to go out here and make history. This is the first tag team Elimination Chamber match. Let's make something special happen, almost like the guys that were in the original TLC triangle ladder match. You know, all that stuff, the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, almost that way. I don't think they quite were able to pull that type of match off, but they took a big step in the right direction.
Most definitely.
Now, you say, when are we going to see the TLC? I say, when are we going to see the Divas in an Elimination Chamber?
Absolutely. That would have been
best point ever.
I agree. That would have just legitimized the hell out of that title. And it's not like these chicks can't take bumps. They absolutely can. It's almost like they don't want to give them any time. It's almost like there's like a rule in the WWE. You cannot give women more than 4 minutes in a match.
Yeah,
or you're fired.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's the old regime with Vince and Michael P.S. Hayes and Dunn and all that. That's normally who we go to here. And if you guys are watching, hire me and Matt and Mitch, and we'll fix everything for you. But either way, the number one thing that I don't dig, and we'll use this as our transition to talk about the Divas match real quick, is not only do they not get an Elimination Chamber match, they don't get a TLC match, they don't get any of the gimmick matches. They don't get an Extreme Rules match. They don't get anything. Every time we see a Divas match, it's a flat-out plain, normally a one-on-one or a tag team match. Tonight, we get a triple threat for the title. And if you're me, you're saying, okay, triple threat, it's for the title, it's at a pay-per-view, that's pretty cool. Then they give it 6 minutes. That was the official time, 6 minutes and change. I'm sorry, when you have 3 people, you cannot tell a story with 6 minutes, and it showed. We had, I'm not sure who it was on the live chat here. I have to scroll back a little bit. But somebody said that Aaron Mason, credit to the Divas match, besides the Naomi and Paige botch, it was pretty solid. And my argument is here, and I know you guys are in agreement with this, so not even going to throw it to you because we'll move on from it. They just aren't able to tell a story in that amount of time. And what happens is you get these ladies that want to show off their in-ring ability, but when they only have that much time, everything is being rushed. Nothing can be fluent. Nothing can come out the way it's supposed to come out. You go to an NXT match. Just watch NXT this week. You'll see 2 Divas matches, 2 women's matches, and they'll both last for 10 minutes or more.
Yep, and they'll both steal every Divas match that I've watched on NXT. The live show we went to, the Divas match stole the show.
Right. Even a Divas match, even a women's match on there with a green talent like Dana Brooke is still a good watch because they give them time.
Yep.
That's all it really takes is a little bit of time. But a little bit of time, it's going to take for me to get used to Ryback with the Intercontinental Championship. What are you thinking about that?
I dig it. I love it.
Absolutely.
It makes sense. This guy's been busting his ass since he got in here. He's passionate, and you gotta admit, the past month, he's been really pulling out all the stops. Been impressive in the ring, and even on the mic, he's just been so much more realistic. You had mentioned it while we were watching. You like it when he seems more human, and that's perfect way to describe it because they've been building him as this machine for so long. To speed me more, he doesn't really speak. The only words that he speaks are his catchphrases. Nobody can relate to that. You can relate to this guy because he comes off real, and I just the little bit that he said to Daniel Bryan after getting the title, that's all he needed to say. Perfectly done. I'm excited about it. I think it could really be a great thing. I know we were all expecting. I know I was expecting Sheamus to win. I figured that'd be their go-to guy. That's the guy they've been saying that they want to push. So I was definitely surprised that they gave it to Ryback, but I think it's a good deal. Maybe we'll get I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe we'll get a Ryback Sheamus feud.
That's what I see coming, just because they were the last 2 guys there.
And they had that match on Raw. I believe it was last week. So.
Yeah, that doesn't. I don't know. That doesn't seem like an Intercontinental Championship feud to me. I don't know why.
It does to me because of the way that Sheamus has been being built.
Right, Sheamus makes sense to me. It's just the pairing of the 2 that doesn't.
I hear what you're saying.
But Mitch, you're watching that. Are you expecting Sheamus to pull that match off as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just because of the reports and everything. And like Matt said, it would make absolute sense the way they've been building him. You think back to when Miz made his return prior to that shit segment that he always does, known as Miz TV. He won the Intercontinental Championship, right. So it would absolutely make sense that Sheamus would have won tonight. But I was really pleasantly surprised that Ryback. I think after his match with Bray Wyatt at whatever the pay-per-view was 2 weeks ago. I can't seem to remember it right now, but
Payback.
Yeah, that's it. Payback. Him and Bray Wyatt really took me by surprise with their match. That was my favorite match of the evening. And like Matt said, he's been working incredibly hard ever since he came back, and much to the delight of me, I'm glad he got the win tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was good, and we've got Road Breakers weighing in, continuing to weigh in on YouTube here. Alex Henry said that he's got to bounce out. He said something to the effect of it being like 4 a.m. across the pond where he's at. So, Alex Henry, thank you for tuning in. He says, sorry for not tuning in for a while. By the way, he didn't have the time, but he'll be back from now on. And that's nice. All we ask, man.
Appreciate that, dude.
Sir.
Marcelica91 says, Charlotte in a chamber, she would be bleeding like her daddy in his best times. Aaron Mason says, I agree. They didn't have enough time to tell, but they did a great job with that time that they had. And I have to agree with that just because, I feel like you can't judge a story by how long it is, but by what's told in the amount of time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then Marcelica making a bold statement saying Nikki Bella is a cancer for this title.
Wow.
I don't necessarily agree. I was just
gonna say that I don't think it's Nikki Bella at all. I think honestly, I know this is probably unpopular with most of the the rest of the IWC, because I include myself in that. You know, a lot of people don't like her, but I think she's been so much improved,
And that's
just over this past year. She's just, to me, I think it was her match with AJ and Paige when they had that triple threat really sold her for me. The way she sold, she took so many bumps. I thought that match was really well done. And I don't think she's cancer. I think she's fine. And like you said, it's the booking. You know, for the past 4 months, they haven't had that title. They rarely spoke about the title. So it's not really her fault. It's the fact that they just the WWE seems to not care about that title at all. And if they don't care, you know, why the hell should we?
Exactly.
Yep.
And Aaron Mason said the same exact thing as you, Matt. She's gotten a lot better over the last year or so. There's no denying that. The Rack attack, the development about that, but, you know, everything.
I agree with
Ryan Barillo.
Ryan Barillo, yep. Both Bellas have improved. They both have been great, but we haven't really seen much of Brie. She's been kind of almost overshadowed by the fact of them pushing Nikki. Even when she's in a tag team match, it's more focus on Nikki, but they don't really focus on her being a champion. It's just her.
Right.
But I agree. Both of them have definitely improved.
Yeah. And then Barillo goes on to say they either need to use their other divas more or bring in better ones. And that's the thing is check it out tomorrow, Monday Night Raw. We're going to get one Divas match for 3 hours. NXT, you have a 1 hour show and there's 2 matches, at least with divas. It just doesn't make sense. It's just an old way of thinking. That's all I can say, because you've got waste. You've got Natalya, who is, in my opinion, just as good as any of the women in NXT in the ring. She's just a valet right now.
Yep.
Sorry. I mean, you don't believe me? Go back and take a look at that Charlotte versus Natalya match for the NXT Women's Championship.
Classic, absolutely.
Yeah, absolute classic. Either way, we're winding down here in time that we've got. We're 2 weeks out from Money in the Bank, and I'm pretty excited about it. Are you guys?
I'm excited. You know what it is? You know, I know you said you were expecting a lot out of this pay-per-view. I'm actually the exact opposite. I was not expecting anything out of this pay-per-view, just for the fact that, you know, the 2 week build was kind of low. I know I said on React for Raw this past week that, you know, the build up to this pay-per-view has been kind of lackluster, kind of boring. But we've been seeing it where that's been happening, but the pay-per-views have been really pulling it out. And to be honest, I was kind of worried with the 2 week span that this pay-per-view was going to fall short. So I wasn't expecting a lot, but I thought they did great. You know, so I think I'm right now, based on this pay-per-view, I'm expecting a lot out of Money in the Bank, just based on they had only 2 weeks, but they were able to put together this pay-per-view, which was pretty solid, all things considered. So I'm hoping Money in the Bank, you know, really hope it doesn't let me down.
I hope so too, Mitch. Before we go here, Money in the Bank, I mean, at least in my opinion, is one of those pay-per-views that's like right outside the big four. Normally, it's one of the most anticipated pay-per-views. Everybody loves that match. Do you think they need to have more than one Money in the Bank ladder match? Maybe have one for a shot at the IC title as well? Or
I like that idea. I was disappointed when they didn't mention anything about the second one, because that's what they did last year. Granted, the World Heavyweight title wasn't it vacant at that time?
Yeah, they had one match for the championship and one for a shot at the championship.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, when they didn't mention a second one, I was bummed. I really enjoyed having 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches last year. So I think the idea for the shot at the Intercontinental title, that would be fantastic, and have it done along exactly the same. Cash in anytime. That'd be a great way to start a new feud for the IC title, give it some more relevance that it's needing.
I agree, and I think that having only one gimmick match on a gimmick pay-per-view just kind of is a waste to me. Same thing with, you know, when we have the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, there's only one Hell in a Cell match. Why are you calling it Hell in a Cell? Why not just incorporate that into another pay-per-view? It doesn't make sense to me. I kind of actually miss, I don't know about you guys, but I don't mind, you know, right now the Andre the Giant Battle Royal after this year is kind of pointless now. I miss having the Money in the Bank before WrestleMania.
Oh my goodness!
I think it
not even
fit
before it, but during it.
During it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it added so much. There was that extra. It made it feel like a huge event.
It was a WrestleMania moment for some people.
Absolutely. So I liked having that in the beginning. I really don't care for it having its own pay-per-view, but I do think that, to get me more interested, I think they should have, at least a second Money in the Bank match. I think that'd be the smart move. But
yeah, I think right now.
Go ahead.
I think.
You're rolling. Shut your mouth.
The thing, and we've alluded to it in the past, is I think they kind of handcuff themselves by naming the pay-per-views after the matches.
Absolutely. That's
so when a feud can call for a Hell in a Cell match, but it's not the time of year when Hell in a Cell is there. They don't use it because it's not Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense to me. I feel like they could use a Money in the Bank match whenever they want if they've got per se. Say Kevin Owens was coming up at a different time during the year, they could have inserted him into a Money in the Bank match where he gets a shot at a title. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But Mitchdow, what were you going to say?
The thought slipped away. And I had something else, but man, I'm drawing a Roman Reigns right now.
I was just going to say that.
Suffer and succotash.
Suffer and succotash, son.
That's all right, because we've actually kept our dear fans up much later than we've promised.
Yeah.
We continue to try and keep this show packed into a half an hour for you guys. That's been our commitment to you guys. We appreciate the huge amount of support. Tons of viewers out tonight for our Elimination Chamber version of React. But the best part about this React, you know what it is?
The fact that I'm here.
That's not it. No. The fact is, the best thing about it is there's another episode tomorrow, right after Monday Night Raw. That's right. Every single week, for those of you guys that are new, we have React After Raw. Every single Monday night after Monday Night Raw, we do this stuff. We chat it out on this chat board. We come live for half an hour. We talk about the biggest points on Raw, the biggest points going forward. And we're going to do that again tomorrow. And we hope you guys will show up for that show as well, because it's going to be a good one.
It'll be a damn good one for sure.
And you can bet your baby little ass on that. But for tonight, this pretty much rounds up our show. Again, we appreciate everybody that came out to watch. If you're digging and craving more of Matt, AuSSy, Mitchdow, maybe you want to know who this Alec character we were talking about.
Why wouldn't they want more?
That's right.
They obviously want more.
They obviously want more. All of our past episodes of React are on our YouTube channel. So hit the subscribe button. Go back. Check out what you missed. You also missed last week's or this past week's return episode of The Sharpshoot with moi. It's a pretty highly rated show. Golden Rope Award winning show. I mean, I'm not going to brag.
I gave out that award.
That's right. That's right. You did. Somewhere the trophy is hanging up in Studio B. But either way, we've got The Sharpshoot coming up this week. We've got React After Raw coming up tomorrow. We promise you we won't bore you with Before the Bell this week.
Or not even just this week, ever.
Ever.
It takes a big man to admit that a show was garbage. The show wasn't garbage. It just
didn't happen.
It just didn't have the same pizzazz. It wasn't as cool as The Sharpshoot. I'll be the bigger man to admit it.
That's right.
Because you never had me on it.
And maybe that's going to be a theme this week for Sharpshoot. There may be a guest on the Sharpshoot.
I was going to say, I almost would rather not have Before the Bell than have Mitchdow on.
Ooh.
Well, that's what I tanked. Sorry.
Now we're just going off on a tangent. And if Alan were here, you would drop a bomb on you guys right now and bring this to an immediate close.
But you're not as good a host, so.
You're right. I'm not. I don't do React justice that Alec did, but I'm doing my best. Austin Brand says, missed you guys. It has been a while. It has been a while. And really make sure it's not a while before you guys tune in again to React tomorrow night. Do it tomorrow night. But right now, make sure you don't forget, hit that subscribe button. hit the like button while everybody's here. That's one super small thing that you guys can do for us to help us out. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the show. If you thought it was stupid, hit it anyways. Just get it over with. Also, go down into the show more portion of the description. That's where you'll find our Twitter handle, our Facebook page, and if you want to become a patron on Patreon and help this show continue, maybe in the future we can get some big time guests on this show, maybe some past wrestlers, maybe some indie stars. We want to do stuff that the other guys do, but we just can't afford it. Like I had to feed my younger brother dog food for dinner tonight in order to afford to keep the internet on for the show. But I'm done rambling. Mitchdow, it was great having you on the show tonight, man. Hopefully we'll get you back soon.
Yes, sir. Great to be here. Always love being on React.
And we love having you, man. That is Mitchdow. You can find him posting all sorts of interesting stuff almost every Monday night on our Facebook page. Again, the link is in the description there. This guy over here, you can find him at Real Matt Donato on Twitter.
Damn right you can.
And you can find me at I am AuSSy on Twitter. And you can find us all at Rope Break Wrestling on Twitter. So do so right now. Make sure you do it. Go give us all a follow. We're really interesting, I promise. But until tomorrow night, this has been React after Elimination Chamber. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night, same time, same place. Until then, RKO out of nowhere.